Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Deveter, and you're listening to
Let's Chat.
Hey, Leah.
Hey, Mommy.
How's it going?
It's going pretty well.
Do you see somebody extra at the table?
I do indeed see someone extra today.
Who's this guy we have at the table with us today? Somebody. Today we are so pleased and privileged to have a very, very important person to us in our lives join us for this special episode of Let's Chat. We are being joined by our cousin Marq Brown. He's joining us to talk a little bit about teen domestic violence. Those of you who follow Mrs. Deveter on Facebook and or on YouTube, you know that I had Marq come on in October to talk about domestic violence. And so today I wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to talk a little bit more about domestic violence, but specifically about teen domestic violence. Marq, introduce yourself to the peoples.
Okay, well, I am Marq Brown. Like you said, I was here doing another segment regarding domestic violence. October was Domestic Violence Month, but every day is Domestic Violence Awareness Day. So I'm just here to just disseminate some information regarding teen dating. I had a conversation with my cousin who inquired how she should talk to her daughter, what should she say. So that's pretty much why I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I think one of the things that you said was to ask Leah, what does she think domestic violence is? Or what does she think teen dating violence is? So, Leah, what do you think it is?
Okay, well, I feel like isn't like domestic violence like physical or like, hitting people and whatnot. And I feel like it could also be like, I can't think of the word, like mental, like manipulation, that type of thing, like jealousy, yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Help her out. Let her know,
I mean, that is it. When people hear domestic violence, they naturally assume a man hitting a woman. But there are different aspects, not just the physical, the mental, like you said, but there's the psychological, there's the verbal, there's also sexual abuse, elder abuse, things like that. So it is that manipulation over another person. They call that the power and control. One person having or thinking they have power and control over another person, but in an abusive manner. So it transcends into teen dating as well, because you're still dealing with two people, whether it's heterosexual, same-sex relationships, regardless. It's just one person who has that power and control over another individual, but in an abusive manner, and that could be anything from telling you where to go, telling you what to wear, checking your phone, stalking. That's also another category of domestic violence, stalking. So it's just not that one thing. I'm glad you mentioned those two or three things, but it's so many more different things that needed to be said, and the awareness should be brought forward. We should be able to recognize what it is, but I believe most people don't know the signs,
right,
or what domestic violence, whether it's in adults, teens, or what it looks like.
So again, back to our conversation, I asked you, how could I, as an adult, identify teen domestic violence? But how can Leah identify if she has friends who are boyfriend and girlfriend, or girlfriend, all the things.
Dating?
Dating, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. It was a word. I knew it was a word. It was a word, and we finally got there.
Dating.
A couple that is dating, how can she identify domestic violence?
Well, again, in my unofficial expert opinion, I think there's a gut feeling. When you know something is not right, that intuition, you feel it, you see it. We walk around in the world we want all our ducks in a row. As soon as one duck is not in that row, you notice that. So it could be anything. She's around a friend, and her friend's partner is yelling at her, demeaning her, talking to her and using derogatory words. Leah's the outside looking in going, that's not right, because that's not how a person should treat another person. You know, Leah comes from a great family and a great household, so she, I think she knows right from wrong, and can see it when it's happening with somebody else. So one, you have to go with that gut feeling. The second thing is, what do you do with that gut feeling?
Right.
You could say something, but then that person who's the abuser could lash out at you.
It's a fear of overstepping,
Correct.
Talk about that.
Like sometimes others don't, like you would know something's wrong, like that intuition, you would know something's wrong and like talk to them about it, but that other person gonna be like, I love him and he loves me and da 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 da. Like doing that type of thing and like saying that you're overstepping their relationship when all you're trying to do is help them out.
So what do you do? Have you ever experienced that? Have you experienced that yet?
No, because, I'm basically the oldest of the bunch, and they always like try to listen to me because I'm like the main one who knows, like who thinks logically.
You're the voice of reason.
Yeah. So like whenever they are like having a trouble, like not like that, but like troubles or something, they always like go to me and ask me like, is this right? So like that's why I feel like,
So that's good.
Well, that's a good support system to have. I think in our circles we always have that one person, who we can go to, who we can confide in. So if they're confiding and speaking to you, you should embrace that. Just be mindful not to give them false information. If you don't know, say, I don't know about that. Let's talk about it, and then you go do the research yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give you that job, but sometimes your friends give you that job.
Yep.
Because they need it. You talked about overstepping your boundaries. The thing is, I don't think people know what boundaries are. And sometimes the one person may think you're overstepping, but the person that needs your help is like, I need you over here.
Yeah.
They can't say it out of fear from the abuser, So when it comes to dating, of course, I come from a different era.
Right.
But kids are dating at a younger age now.
Yes, they are.
And it's being embraced and accepted in many households, many communities. I don't have to talk about that. Let's just talk about when you are dating, So how you want to be treated. Everything starts with in my opinion, everything starts with a conversation.
Yes.
Communication.
Yep.
The second thing after communication, in my opinion, is acceptance. You have to be willing to accept what that person is saying. So you have to know how to communicate effectively and find out things about that person. And if there's some things that are red flags, as they say, that's not the person for you. You made the reference at the young and say, oh, well, I love him. Love shouldn't hurt. I said that before.
Love should not hurt.
Love shouldn't make you feel less than.
That's right.
At any age.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the younger adults, they process things differently than we do as grown-ups, But it has to feel right inside.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're not sure, you have to be able to step back and then go speak with somebody like your parents, or closer friends, or another adult who may know more about the subject itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really deep. Being able to communicate effectively, and to make sure that the person is hearing you, what you're saying. I remember you telling me about one of your friends. This person is a gamer, and they have a lot of male friends, but they talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so one of my best friends, like this is my homegirl, she has a lot of guy friends and she's like in a relationship, but she like when she's making friends she just gravitates to like guys quicker. I like something like that because like she has a lot of in common with them. She plays the game, like all this stuff. So like when she makes friends, she makes a lot of guy friends, and her boyfriend was like, I don't know, like you're like mad close to all these guys and like I just don't feel comfortable with like you being cool with all these people, whatever. And like she didn't make her block them, but that's what she felt like she had to do. So, like, she started unfriending all these people, and we're like, do you, like, really want to do this? Like, is he telling you to do this? And she was like, no, but, like, I feel like that's what I have to do in order to, like, prove myself to him. And we're like, what, bro? So, yeah.
Okay. That's not uncommon, though.
Right.
Yeah, we could probably sit here and come up with tons of ways for her to get around that. Make the friend and bring him along. Keep him in that circumference so he doesn't feel threatened on any level. But again, as I was saying when we were off the air, we were talking about ego. The male ego is very fragile at any age. So if he's feeling insecure, it's actually his insecurities. So where is the trust factor?
Yeah.
That should have been either established in the beginning, or the seed should have been planted when you're having effective communication. If she's not doing anything to make him lose the trust, he shouldn't lose the trust.
Right.
But if he's just going off of his ego, he's going to start accusing her of doing things. He's going to look at her differently. He's going to intimidate her in a way, or be passive aggressive, to where she says, you know what, maybe I need to delete these people. You should be free to do what you want to do in a relationship. And if you get those type of feelings, you have to ask yourself, is this the right relationship for me? It can't just be like, how he looks physically, and he plays sports, and it's more to the surface.
Yeah.
Even at that age, it's more to the surface. And if teens don't learn that lesson, they'll carry it into their young adulthood, into the adulthood, and it just becomes like this cycle that they have to live through, which is unfair.
Right.
Yeah, that's what be going on these days.
It does. It's nothing new. I mean, I like to hear from a young person's perspective. I always like to hear what the younger adults are thinking. I know they think that we as adults can't relate, but this is nothing new. So again, I just think the feeling you get to know if that's right or wrong is a true feeling. Kids are innocent.
Right.
They don't really put too much thought. They don't have to put too much thought process. That hurt. That's not good. Adults, we try to make excuses in our head about it. But teens shouldn't do that. I can't tell the young lady what to do. I'm hoping that she's having conversations with her parents as well, and they could steer her the right way. But it's unfortunate, that we still in 2021 have teens who are dating and being abused, even if it's not physical.
Right.
There's a mental, there's a verbal, there's a psychological, like I said. There's the isolation. There's the intimidation. There's the stalking. Like, I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And this happens. Taking your phone. Let me look through your phone.
No. Sorry.
But then when people say no, they feel like that they have something to hide.
But the people who say that, see, if you trusted your partner, that's not even a thought process anymore.
It's not. It doesn't. I have been married to Franklin for 25 years. There has never been a time where I felt like I needed to go through his phone. Like, there's never been a time where I felt, and my husband is a musician.
Yep.
Okay?
Right.
He's a musician, yeah. And he's good. And he's fine. And so, there's never been a time where I thought that I needed to go through his phone to see who he's talking to or anything like that. And I think that, like you said, it comes with the level of communication and the level of trust that you have and respect that you have. So, I mean, a parent who wants to go through their children's phone, they paying the bill. So
that's a different boundary.
That's a different boundary. But your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't have rights to go through your phone.
What does it say if you're dating someone and he thinks you're stepping out on, you're cheating on him, so he wants to see your phone? He doesn't trust you.
Right.
You can be like, wait a minute, you don't even trust me.
That's right.
He'll put it on you, or one partner will put it on the other partner.
Yep.
But in turn, he really doesn't trust you.
Right.
He thinks you're doing something, but he's not seeing, or she's not seeing what they are doing. By
Right.
saying, I need to go through your phone. When they go through the phone and they find nothing, then what?
Right.
Yeah.
Next is, I need to follow where you're going. I need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
These are all power and control moves
Right. Power and control.
in a team. And that's what it's about. I said before, you could look it up. You could look at the power and control wheel. There's one for dating. There's one for DV. There are all types of power and control components to it. It's like a pizza pie. Read that. and ask yourself, is there anyone in my circle, not even someone you're dating, is there anyone that I know that does these things to me? And if they do, they should not be in your circle.
Right. We had a podcast a couple of weeks ago about toxic people in your life, and that will, that power and control, that's really important, knowing where people are in your life and where they show up. And that can really help you to identify who should and who should not be in your life. That's really key.
I think the hardest part is not knowing who to put out your life.
Right.
Because we look at superficial things about that person. You know, well, he's funny or she's funny and we have a good time, but they still have toxic traits that they don't want to change.